Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. This is a different video than usual because there was someone who asked on this video on how I did this. So I thought that I would record this and show it. So originally I saw the video of Kaizen tutorials, which will be linked in the description. He explains it a little bit more in depth. So if you really want to understand what each geometry node does, because that's what this effect is based on, then you can watch his video down below. Also, he has a base file, which I will also link in the description. So if you download that, then you can start right here with me. All right, let's start. So if you open the file, you will see that there are some lights, a car, and just some object later will be needed, and a ground, basic ground, and a plane, which is the finished product, but that's for later, and a normal volume, but that's also for other things. So first of all, we will add a new plane. This is all based on geonodes, so that's what we will be using today. So when you added your plane in your scene, you can switch over to your geometry tab, which is geometry node editor. You can have it everywhere. I just have it here because I found it more comfortable to work with. So once you have your plane, you just hit new, and then a new geometry node is created. So first of all, we will delete the input and we will add a curve line. So if we add this and connect it to our geometry, it will create one line. So we'll change, we don't want it to go vertically now. So we will change this to 0 because we don't want it on the Z axis. And we just want it on the Y axis. So I'll put here 2. And let's say that it starts at -2. So we have a line here on the y-axis that's 4 long on the y-axis, of course. So now that we have one line, we want to duplicate it. So we'll array it. Normally there is a modifier, just called the array modifier, but that's for meshes. We're working in geonodes, so we will we will add an instance to points node. Sorry, I mean instance on point. But we don't want it to put the points, but we want it to the instance because that's it's going to duplicate it, of course. So then we will add a mesh line, and so we'll use this mesh line and we'll put it into the points because this is the wrong one because we select endpoints and resolution. Now, what this does is basically it will array the curve line every 1 meter for, let's say, 5 times. So every 1 meter, it creates a line for 5 meters on the z-axis. So what we'll do now is, first of all, we'll create a little bit more lines. So if we decrease the resolution, there will be less space between each instance of the line. So let's set it to 0.05. So now there's a lot of lines, which is again each 0.5 meters there is a line, and then it arrays and everything. So now we want to array again this lines. We want to instance them on the y-axis this way. So we will just basically duplicate this. The way that we just instance them on the z-axis, we can just instance them on the y-axis. So we will just duplicate this, and again we'll just put the instance into the instance, into the geometry, and we'll duplicate the mesh line again, and we will put them in the points. Now, this, of course, instance them on the z-axis. So what we'll do now is actually change the end location. First of all, we'll put the resolution to like 0.1, for example. And now we will we will change the location, or we will change the number of the end location of the y-axis, because that's what we want. So let's say, for example, we set it to 15. That's maybe that's not what I want to do. Oh god, Blender is not responding. What have I done? Oh, there you go. Oh, well, don't put it to 0 because Blender isn't liking this very much. So let's put it to 5, for instance, and we will change the end location to 15, for example. Now it's instancing it to side, right? But if we change the start location on the y-axis, sorry, the other way, it will, of course, there you go. So if you move them, it will create more and more and more. Now that we have this set up, we can make this the gap between each instance smaller. So if we set it by 4, for instance, it's going to be precisely on the connected, because 2 and 2 is 4. So we'll create just a little bit bigger. So let's say 4.2. That's pretty nice, I think. So another thing is, instead of moving, so of course with you have the start location that you can manually change, but you could also use a driver. But first we're gonna use a node that's called scene time, and we'll plug the frame into the start location. Change the y to 10 and to 4.5 because it looks a bit better. So now if we play this, then this happens, which is kind of weird, and it's not the right direction that we want it. So of course, what do we do if it's not in the right direction? We grab a combine XYZ. Now we want it to the Y, of course, so we'll connect it to the Y. And there you go. Now it should animate it well. So that's perfect. Well, yeah, so this works for now. That's great. So this looks fine now. However, I think that we would like to control the speed of the moving of the instances. So what we'll add a math node here, and we'll change from add to divide. And now this is going really fast, because the lower you go, the faster it is, and the higher you go, the slower it is. So for instance, if we put it to 20, it's going really slow. But if we put it to 6, it's going pretty fast. I mean, not pretty fast, but it's going, let's say that. So I'll be setting it to 5, let's say that. And I'll make this to 50, just because now we can see it, that it's making instances. Now let's move on. So the next thing is that right here, when you will have the final product, you don't want the lines all to be the same length, because that's a little bit flat and it's boring to look at. So what we can do is we can actually use the node random value to change the length of each line. Right here, if you see this, we can change the length of the lines. So if we add here a random value node, and we'll plug the value into the scale, it's gonna make all kind of random length, of course. Now the random value, it works on all axes, but since our object or mesh is only one dimensional, you won't see it. But just to be sure that maybe later, if you're doing this on another object that has more dimensions, that it you don't want weird things to happen, you can just get a combine XYZ node and specify the Y in this case, so nothing strange happens. So of course now we can play with the what's the minimum length and what's the maximum length. So um, let's see if I can put this ones 3. Are those connected? Yes, okay, because I want some of them, I want them to be connected and some of them not. So I think that I'll do this 1.2. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's good. So now that we have the the base and everything, these are lines, these are curves. So in the finished product, you can see that it's actually I'll show you. So if we play this, it's points that move along. So we want to change that from curves to points. So we'll do that right now. There's actually a node that's really handy in this case that is called sorry, that is called curve to points. So we'll just add that to points. Oh, and they're pretty big, so I'll add a what is that called? I forgot. Set radius, I think. Set curve. No, not curve. Set point radius. I'm sorry. So you'll add a set point radius so that you can control the size of them. Looks pretty nice now. So we want a lot more, so we'll just add them 500. Those are a lot of points, of course, and they're also pretty big. So I will make this smaller. So for instance, let's say 0.1, I'm sorry, which looks, sorry, why can't I click? Okay, which looks all right, but maybe we can make it a little bit bigger. I don't know if that's too big. Actually, let's see if maybe 0.2 is fine. I don't know. Now if we want to see it in the rendered view, we need a material, of course, because now if we go here, nothing will show. So we'll add a set material node, and we'll select this one, which is the light material that I'm using. Why isn't it showing? I'm sorry, what did I do wrong? I know why it's not working. We need a realize instances node so it actually realizes that those are instances. So yeah, now this is done and should be able to see them. Oh my god, they are too big. I think 0.5, 0.005. Oh, maybe, geez, 1? That's a little bit too small. 3. 25, 25. I think 25 is good. Sure, that looks fine. That looks fine. Great. Now we have set up the main thing for the main geometry node thing. So I think I'll just group these actually like that. And I'll call it main geo node. So now that we have our main thing, we want, of course, to move the curves that are turned into points now along the object that we have selected. First of all, we will add a set position node. So for then we have the Raycast, which is what this whole effect is based on, actually, on the Raycast node. It's pretty new, so yeah, I'll explain it. I'll explain the Raycast node. So the Raycast node basically works like this. The Raycast node intersects rays from one geometry to another. The source geometry is defined by the context of the node that the Raycast node is connected to. Each ray computes its points on the target mesh and outputs normals, distances, and any surface attributes specified. So the way that we'll be using this is if we add an object info node, and then we'll add the geometry to the target geometry, and we select our object that we want to target, of course. So this can be anything, but since you asked for the car, we will select the car. This is the car. It's also in the base file that's in the description, so perfectly perfect. Also, I know it looks weird. It's because it's remeshed, because if it wouldn't be remeshed, it would lag insane. I tried this a few times also, and I tried with the other car models that I had, and if you don't remesh it, and that lagged so much. So remesh it. It looks weird here, but at the end it looks fine in the actual render. So yeah, that's a little side note for you. So now, to actually show something, we will use the isHit button to the offset of the set position. Now, sorry, I mean the hit distance. I am sorry. And something should happen indeed. And where is it? Nothing happened. Oh, it's way over there. That's because I am sorry. I misclicked. I meant this. Still nothing. Huh? Why is nothing happening? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't see it. It was created. So, of course, you need also combine XYZ and tell the machine or tell Blender that it's only on the axis. Sorry. So basically, how the Raycast node is working right now is that basically we have all the actually, let me take these off. So we have all these curves on the y-axis, and we tell Blender that with the Raycast node, it shoots raycasts 500 per line. Here you see 500 per line, and it shoots these rays in search of the car model. In this case, a car model. It can be anything, but and on the axis, it shoots these rays and until it finds the object, and then it casts the rays, or like the points. That's yeah. I can't really explain it that well, but I think you understand. I hope you understand a little bit. But it works for now, so that's great. So, if in case you find that these are way too less points, you can always go to the mesh line here, the first mesh line, and adjust the resolution. So if I increase it, if I decrease it 0.02, for instance, there are way more points. So actually, I'll leave it to 0.02 because that looks good. And another thing is having all this. If you turn this way, you will see that there are still some points, and that's because you can see the cutout of the car. So of course it's not really handy to have those because those will be rendered too. So we can delete them actually. So the way we do that is pretty simple. We open a, or like, god damn it, we add a delete geometry node, and of course it deletes everything. But if we select the Raycast is hit thing and we put it into the selection, it does the job but the wrong way. So we have to invert this. You can do that easily by using a Boolean math and change to and to not. And there you can see that all those other points are deleted, but the car is still here. So basically now we have one side of the car, but we also need the other side of the car. We can simply do this like this. So we duplicate the set position, and we take another delete geometry and we plug it in there. After that, we can use a join geometry and plug it in here and here. And of course, it's really weird, but we need another combine white set. No, I'm sorry. No, we don't need that. We don't need that. I'm dumb. We can plug this in here. And of course, we need something to invert it. And in this case, we used a Boolean math. So it's again a math, but in this case, it's a vector math, not a vector rotate. I am sorry. A vector math. So in here, and then we select that into there. We have to put -1 here, -1 there, and we do multiply add. There you go, it works. So now we have this. Now if we animate it, you can see that it... Okay, yes, we'll have to work on that. I am sorry, it's not a multiply, but just a multiply. What the heck? Alright, I fixed it. I am sorry. But here in the mesh line, you have to put it on the -10 because I forgot to do that. So that's a problem. I'm sorry. So that will fix it. I think, yeah. Should be fixing, yeah, perfectly. So now we have the car. And if you go here, of course, in the base file and you select the ground, you can see that you have, where is the material? Why isn't it showing? Oh my god. The material needs, of course, to be at the end. I am really dumb. I am sorry. There you go. And now you have the car. Great. So, of course, if you want just a random other object or anything that you created, you can go to the object info, delete this, and select any object, for instance, the landscape. And of course, in the material tab, the light is really simple. It's just a wave texture and a color ramp in the emission. You can easily just change the color. So let's say you want red, and that's kind of scuffed. Say you want white and red. There you go. You have that. Pretty simple. So I think this was it for the tutorial. If you liked it, please leave a like. I don't know what you do, just... And yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.